Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the R101-C Carbine and see how it stacks up against some of the other guns you'll encounter when you play Titanfall. So first off, I would want to talk about the gun a little bit. It is everyone's go-to gun. You know, I've been scouring the internet, looking at what people thought of it, you know, seeing over the reviews, and even when I'm playing the game, I encounter this gun a lot, and you can see why. It's a good gun. You know, it's very bog standard. 30-round magazine, standard recoil, standard damage. It's an all-round bog standard carbine. The gun you can expect to see in many games. So, for instance, in the Call of Duty series, it would have been the M4 carbine, stuff like that. So, in the beta, I didn't touch any other gun because this was awesome, and it was purely due to the fact of there was no recoil for the gun, or there was very little, from what I can remember. And Respawn have gone ahead and sort of added a bit of kick to the gun, and it's for that reason I used the hollow sight. With the HCOG, I found it very difficult to sort of readjust the crosshair after the initial kick to get back where I needed to be firing at, and you know, in that 1 or 2 seconds where I'm trying to readjust my fire, you know, it's just I can be killed from sort of anywhere. So that's why I use the hollow sight. I find the circular reticule is a lot easier to bring the recoil back down actually to where I needed my bullets to be going. As for the AOG scope, I use it a little bit. Generally, I couldn't really get along with it on this gun, so I just prefer the hollow sight. And for my mod, I've used the extended magazine purely because the fire rate on this gun it's a little higher than sort of what I'd like it to be. So you can run out of ammunition very easily, and if you're sort of panic spraying in close quarters, you know, you're going to drain a magazine very quickly. So those extra 10 rounds, they can really help. Now, as for the actual entire loadout of what I'm running with, there it is. If you fancy giving that one a go, you know, see how it runs for you. I need to change the arc grenades to satchel charges though. That's what I would be normally running with. I did forget to change that when I made this class up a second ago. But the quick reload kit, generally I like to run with that. That's the only thing that needs to be said to go to the gun. So without further ado, let's get into some gameplay videos and see how it stacks up against the other guns. Okay, so what I'm quickly going to say here is there's going to be another video coming out later on this evening, like late this evening, probably around 11 o'clock. This is all British time, if there are any American viewers watching, or maybe sort of early tomorrow morning, just talking about my channel and like what's going to happen during the month of April. So we're going to quickly talk about, I'll talk about that in maybe like a 10-minute video, just to let you know, like the 20 of you that are watching, you know, but thought I'd better let you guys know. So first I'm going to do something different, like I didn't do in the Hemlock BFL video. I actually went and googled the R101-C Carbine, found the Titanfall wiki, and I'm going to actually sort of read out for you the stats. So its primary weapon is an assault rifle. Now the damage is 50 to 40 for infantry and 20 to 25 for a Titan. So generally when you're shooting at infantry, you know, you're going to get quite a bit of damage. As for Titans, unless you're using an amped version of it, I tend to steer clear. And it's when you're rodeoing Titans, I tend to find it's about 3 magazines you can burn through, but generally ammo is never really a concern for me in Titanfall because you get so much of the damn stuff. So we got an 810 rounds per minute, maximum range of I think 44 it was when I looked, and generally I found the most hinderous part of this gun is the recoil, but we'll quickly talk about that a bit later. So we got a 2.5 second reload here when you're sort of, it's a quick reload, and it's almost 3 seconds when it's empty, and you've got a 1.4 damage multiplier when you get headshots, and if you want to have the extended mag on, you get an extra 10 rounds, increasing it from 30 to 40. So like I want to talk about here, and that is the recoil. You know, it does tend to kick like a motherfucker sometimes. So make sure, yeah, aim in generally at their chest, or generally, yeah, chest area. I'll go with that, because you can then make the recoil work to your advantage. And I know it's kind of tempting to think, shit, as a guy, let's actually go for his head. You know, you're going to get one bullet onto his head, and then, you know, if your gun's starting to spray all over the place, and if he's a good player, or if he's very lucky, he's going to turn around and he's going to pop you in the head, especially if he's using a shotgun and you're in close quarters. You know, he's going to turn around, he's going to fill you full of buckshot, and there's going to be nothing left of you. You know, it's just going to be a hollow cavity with where your chest was. So use the recoil to your advantage. You know, think, oh Christ, this gun recoils. Actually aim onto their chest, let the recoil carry it up, and you know, maybe you get the extra 25 or 50 points in the case of double XP for that headshot. You know, you'll see me doing it here. I'm short bursts, aiming generally at their chest area. So that's how I made the recoil work to my advantage. Now here, what I've done is like I said, I've switched out the the AOG sight for the hollow sight because I decided that I think I actually picked it up, believe it or not, and I remembered using it. I was like, yeah, this gun was I actually quite enjoyed using it with the hollow sight, which is strange for me. So I don't tend to use the hollow sight. I don't generally like the circular reticule, but then it works quite well when I'm using this carbine gun. I can control the recoil a bit better. Now, a general tip I want to say about here is I'm going to touch on the clip size. It's high rate of fire. Personally, on the site it says low to medium, but I think it's kind of got a high rate of fire if you take the recoil into account. You know, you've only got 40 rounds, and you can burn through those extremely quickly, especially if you're panic firing or you've walked into a room and there's another guy in there and you're running around hip firing at each other. You know, because you know when you hip fire and your accuracy just drops in just drastically. So before you know it, you've spent 40 rounds and then you're both fumbling around for your sidearms, you know, and it just kind of ends up to be a bit of a clusterfuck. So make sure you're just wary of your ammunition and how many rounds you're actually throwing down range at this guy and how many are hitting him, because you know it's only average damage. You know, it hasn't generally got that much damage to this gun. But I'm still struggling here to talk about this gun because it's just bog standard. You know, very good gun. It's everyone's go-to gun. You find yourself having a bad day on Titanfall. I do it all the time. It's like, you know, fuck this shit. I'm gonna just go use this gun, and things tend to start not going so much well for me. They start to get better for me, you know, because I know what I'm going to get with this gun. It's just all-round good gun, which I know I can use. So that's generally my tips for however many people are watching this. You know, I was quite surprised when I came back on my YouTube channel and my Hemlock BFI had like over 100 views. So I was like, oh shit, I better do another one of these. But talk about that more in the video, which I said is coming out a bit later. So yeah, generally that's my best advice to you. Be wary of the recoil, make the gun work to your advantage, and generally you've got to get to know the gun you're using. That's one bit of advice I could probably give. Actually, oh god, I can't speak today. Actually, take a look at the situation and think, how is this gun going to sort of react? And I know it's difficult, and especially in a game as fast-paced as Titanfall, but if you learn to do that, your gameplay is going to get a lot better. Is what I started doing. As you'll see here, look, I come in, I see there's one grunt there, but I see there's a few other people walking around. So instead of loosening off ammo, I just throw a grenade and I kill all 4 of them. You know, because I'd have probably got halfway through that magazine, maybe someone would have heard my gunfire and come behind me and kill me. So that's probably a bit of advice. Generally, have a look at your situation and think, how is this going to turn out for me? You know, especially if you're using an unsuppressed weapon, which for me is all the time. So I don't really like suppressors; they lower your damage. So yeah, that's generally all I've got to say on this gun. You know, I mean, I'll probably start doing that a bit more, adding all the damage stats into it. You know, but then you guys can go and look that up yourself. I'm just telling you which is the best way to use the gun. So, because you guys can just go on the Titanfall wiki and like, oh look, here's the damage, and then you can go and watch my video and tell you how to use it. So maybe I'll add that in the next video I do for one of the guns, which will most likely be the Spitfire LMG, because I really want to do one for that. But I hope you've enjoyed the video, and like I always say, stay tuned for more Titanfall videos coming soon.